Mind is constipated, stomach filled with headaches. The lack of trust, feeling the pain in my breastplate. High blood pressure, medications they titrate. Drug companies don't care, they just out to get paid. Can't retire, gotta keep earning a slave wage. $1 cost average when the money's less than average. Have no expectations like Pulse Chain or Sacrifice. I wear the same sneakers every day. Witness the perils of the holes in my apparel. Delayed gratification, I'm boxing my own shadow. Try to have an open mind, but my views can be narrow. Wife and kids eat the chicken and I'll eat the bone marrow. Not looking for pity, you can keep the sorrow. The times are hard, but I'll pray for a better tomorrow. Built rock solid, not shallow and hollow. Keep putting in that real work. Trabajando, 100. What's going on, everybody? What's up? It's the Crypto Wonder. Hope you're doing well. I have something that's on my mind, and it's in regards to something that I've seen happen a lot, and it affects content creators, right? I've seen it happen a lot in crypto because that's been the most of the content that I've created over the last 6 years. When you're part of a community, you know, what do we gravitate towards? What we like, similar interests, like-minded types of commonalities, subjects, whatever. I understand how hard it is to create content, to put that energy out there, to create something out of nothing, right? And hopefully try to create some type of piece of work that will provide some value, especially when you're dealing with crypto. And the value is subjective, right? It resonates differently with people, depending on what you're talking about and how you deliver your message and the information you're sharing. A lot of us in crypto everybody starts off small. When I mean small, you know, you grinding, you working your channels that are particularly just rented by YouTube. We rent our channels because YouTube could just snub us at any time they feel like it. That's a story for another day, which I already shared in my last video. If you saw it, YouTube, this is YouTube's world. We just rent it. But when you're creating content and you know you're trying to be as authentic and real to yourself as possible, right? Creative, displaying your presentation, your computerized footprint. You're laying down your work and delivering and giving it out to the world. You shouldn't necessarily, as hard as it is, you shouldn't necessarily have to worry about how it's going to be perceived, even though it's hard, because sometimes I often talk about being responsible with the content you create, because anyone on the face of this earth who has internet access, YouTube, can by whatever chance find your video, listen to it, and depending on the message, they could be affected by it one way or another. Hopefully it's in a good way, right? Being accountable, being responsible, all that good stuff. When you're being real and you're being pure, what does it matter how big your channel is? I get it. Because who wouldn't want to see what we think and perceive in our mind to be our hard work paying off? Who wouldn't want to see the fruits of our labor really materialize by way of more viewership, larger subscriber base, hell, even seeing some money come your way through monetization? There's nothing wrong with wanting that. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. And just focus on doing that though, right? Just focus on doing your work, not necessarily trying to really create. Because like for me, I could only speak for me. I kind of know what it feels like when you have a small channel and you're starting out or whatever, you put so much hours and work in, and you see other people who come after you pretty much surpass you. But as quick as I think about that is as quick as I dismiss it, because I say, you know what? Everyone is in their own lane, is in their own natural realm of doing things. And we're not going to necessarily yield the same results as one another. But it does not take anything away from the work that each of us do, as long as it's coming from a pure place, in my opinion. I don't like, there's people that just come up on the scene and all of a sudden they blow up, popularity soar through the roof. You know, it seemed like they just, struck it, like they just got a streak of luck. Channel blows up, popularity, attention, all that great stuff. And for others, it takes years to even get a fraction of that. But that's okay, as long as both groups, the ones that are lucky and the ones that work hard, understand if you're being pure and true and real to yourself, and it carries over well to the audience, that's all that matters. Because let me tell you something, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. We might feel that it is. Oh man, look at this guy, look at this person. They just came up here and all of a sudden, everybody likes them. Meanwhile, I've been here doing this and toiling for so long and working hard and doing the same thing, if not more, and I don't even get anything, a fraction of anything. I actually get the opposite effect. People don't like the material. They don't like me. They talk all this crap, blah, blah, blah. That shouldn't be the focus. That negative feedback shouldn't be what you hold on to, because that takes away. It tears you down, because you holding on to something that's just, it becomes sort of like destructive and debilitating, because you won't want to do anything anymore after that, because you really start to believe in the negativity that you perceive to be negative, when it's just what it is. Because I tell you what, even the other parties that you feel are soaring, they have their own crap to deal with. It might be even more than you may notice or realize, but to the point where you're like, oh, let me stay in my own lane, because that over there is a little bit too wacky or too chaotic or too unorganized and too crazy. I'm good where I'm at. Right? With great power comes great responsibility. And on top of that, folks like us, we have experience on our side. Because those of us who try to use experience as a guide to navigate through life and to impart our teachings and our experiences to younger people, or even folks who are just receptive, open ears, doesn't regardless of age, we know that what we talk about more often than not is universal. It could touch everybody in a certain way. It applies. So my channel, my content can get 1 view versus someone else who does something and get 1 million views. It doesn't really bother me, because what am I doing this for? Right? Because guess what? You're always going to have a following. You could be the scum of the earth, and still garner a following. You could be the saintliest, the righteous of righteous, or whatever, noble, blah, blah, blah. Somebody is just like from a different dimension creating content. You'll have a following. And everybody in between. You create and talk about anything, you have a following. So you work from that premise and that perspective and keep the blinders on and focus on what you got going on. Because I tell you, when they say that the race between the turtle and the hare is something that's very important, because we would imagine that the hare would outrun the turtle because it's smaller, it's more agile, it runs faster, quicker, right? But the hare is dashing to nowhere while the turtle is moving in a measured step, bit by bit, step by step, moving forward. Although it's slow, it's determined, and it has a purpose, it has a mission, and it sees the finish line. And guess what? Guess what happens in the end? What would you rather be? Because the turtle gets to outrun the hare, who's in haste, huffing and puffing, in a hurry to go nowhere, missing everything that's important in its rush to completion. But I'm not saying that these content creators that seem like they're lucky and they got all this popularity out of nowhere have just rushed the process. They're just sticking to whatever it is that they have to offer. If that's the case, if they're following their own heart, then God bless them. If they're not, and if it's something manufactured or created or contrived, right? Something that's just made up, people just trying a little too hard and it seems to be working, or even clout chasing, then you know what it is. You know how that came to be. You see, you understand, oh, okay, this is something else. This is something right here that's being forced. It's not natural. It's not organic. It's not coming from the person's heart. They don't have good intent, whatever. It's not pure. It's not real. It's fake. It's contrived. My thing is just focus on what you got going on. I've said this for years to different content creators, by the way. Pull them aside, say, listen, whatever. I get it though. When if you want to at least enjoy this and create a revenue stream, you work hard, you put time. But then if you're a person and you have other obligations, how much time can you really put into creating content when you have dedicated commitments and obligations to meet outside of creating content that hold much more of your attention, that have much more importance and priority in your life, you see? And vying for the attention. This is something that I also have problems with the founder of this ecosystem that I like to talk about here. When I've seen in the past, and I've said this 2 years ago, the beginning of the sacrifice period and all that, I don't understand how for being in crypto practically 14 years and being a leader of his own ecosystem, the majority of the space detests this man. And we've seen him battle all these so-called great leaders or thought leaders in the community. We've seen him pummel them with his points and views and intelligence and knowledge and information that he shared to debunk everything that these so-called, fake gurus had dealing with crypto, lying to the community, lying to the world. We've seen Richie Rich debunk all of them, and they still have yet 14 years later to give him his proper respect. I've seen, though, I give credit to some. I've seen little things here and there where people do come around, but the majority detest. But my thing is, even though he's on his quest for glory, his own personal quest for glory in the crypto space and beyond, I say to myself, stick to what your natural proclivity and your natural realm, because what he's doing, look what he's doing. He's doing magnificent work that many people in this world cannot do or achieve. Stop looking for the attention and respect of others, especially if it's absent and people are not going to give it to you. You let the work speak for itself. You let your efforts and your contributions and the things you've done speak for itself, especially if you don't work for the community, you don't work for anybody. He's been teaching everything about no expectation. Why do you expect to be respected? And this is not really going at Richard. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, sometimes these guys, Richard, you could give the world who hates you still 14 years later, all the peers who hate you still, you can give them your ass to kiss. That's been my thing. Because there's no more need to vie for recognition and attention from these losers. Because all they've been doing is defecating on the community with giving them nothing but lies, like basically hurting all of their followers and leading them to losing their monies left and right, year after year, with no recourse, no real recompense, reparations, resolve, nothing. And they continue to grow in popularity. Well, you know what? So is Richard. So is the work that he's doing. And it's expanding in a natural way every single day. That's the same thing that I would say to content creators on this side of the pond. As far as if you small and you coming up, you don't give up and you work on what you got going on. I have no problem shouting out to anybody who comes in my live stream and I know they create content and ask the communities, the people in the chat to give support and go to the channel, subscribe, I have no problem with that because I know what it's like starting from the bottom and hardly being able to break 1,000 views, 1,000 subscribers, I'm saying, or even 1,000 views after, creating hundreds of videos. And try to make things interesting and entertaining and all this stuff and doing all this and be creative and imaginative and original, and it's hard. It's not easy. And you see other people who just come out of nowhere and they saw, let them be them as long as you're you too, because you never know the effect that you have on somebody. Because what we do, I firmly believe, and I was taught this, either directly or indirectly affect somebody else. What we do and what we say has a direct or indirect impact on other people. So it's something that we might say as content creators that could very well change someone's perspective, change someone's thought pattern, and very well change their life altogether. You never know. And then when you stop, they lose the chance. They lose the chance of making that happen. When you stop that, it's over. There's no coming back. There's no doing nothing. There's no anything. Because you stopped. And someone else is going to pick up the baton and carry and possibly follow this formula that I'm saying and follow it all the way through. Meanwhile, you could have been that person to do it too. But you gave up. There's people who have reasons why they give up. This is not a judgment. It's not about being critical. It's not about pointing fingers. It's about just laying things out how it is. Like in my book, in my opinion. I could have gave up on doing this years ago. I don't give up because I enjoy doing what I do. I don't do what I do for popularity. I don't do what I do for attention, right? I don't do what I do to, be part of the cool kids club. I'm grown. My whole thing is different. But I don't respect disrespect. That's something that's just not me. It's not part of my makeup and fabric of who I am from the core. I don't engender and endear anything remotely close to disrespect. I shuts that down. Period. There's nothing more to talk about. Right? So that's it. That's my thing. It's my thing. Just don't give up out there, folks. Don't do that. I've seen it too many times. People just don't do the work, even if it's once a month, once every 2 months. However, whatever you start, don't stop. Because when you stop, it's harder for you to pick it up and keep it going, Especially if you're doing something that you love, that you have a passion for. Really, it's here to be utilized. Here, you never know what can come out of it. You never know. You may never know how you affect other people. Trust. When I'm telling you, I've been out here for a minute doing this, and I'm telling you, it's better to be cool with a few than cool with many, because those many, you probably 99, maybe 100% of them will not be able to be trusted because they'll be of poor quality, versus the few that pay attention, that hold on to you, that really like right there, they support what you got going on because of the quality that you deliver, and that's the quality that you'll attract. Let's make it make sense, people. So with that, I bid you all adieu, and let's get it, folks. Let's get it. Peace.